And I want to just talk about therapy in general. And we're in a weird situation. We're in a weird culture. We're in a weird world, the Western world, where we've got a whole, medical system which has been constructed and built over a long period of time, and academic institutions teaching people in a certain way how to think, you know, and there are lots of issues, there are lots of problems, uh, and there's lots of inaccuracy, and there's lots of damage that's being done to people. Or let's say um, not the best treatment for improving health, and it's a multifaceted game. It's a multifaceted game, and it's hard to quantify a lot of these things. I mean, how do we quantify when someone is emotionally stable or grounded or in alignment with who they are? Now that's hard to mark. That's hard to pin down. So we've got to work cut out for us, in wading through this stuff and working out what the best pathways are. But there are some basic, practical, tangible things that we can look at to work this stuff out. And that's why I like working with the body, the physical body, because it's tangible. It's something we can see. In the developmental space, if we work on something consistently over a period of time, we can see the results. It's there. You know, um, Still requires an element of analysis, but it's physical. It's tangible. So um, some things are less tangible, and they can take time to show, to manifest. So mental issues like patterns, negative emotional patterns, imbalances with our energetic body, let's say. Even those words scare people. So what I want to do is help people to understand therapy, what therapy is, to understand themselves, and to get back in alignment. I think that is what therapy actually is. Therapy is a process of attending to what needs to be attended to. These certain pain points come up. That's a good potential pathway. Pain points come up. And so therapy is attending to these pain points. What do we want to shift? What's not working? And so we go in and have a look at a certain problem, something that's dysfunctional, and through that process we unravel it and heal it. And that is true in any discipline, any facilitation process, any process work. A medicine circle. You're going to see a doctor, massage therapist, psychotherapist, dance therapist, art therapist. Doesn't matter what it is. Somatic therapist, Reiki healer, whatever it is. So what are we doing in all of those cases? We are attending to the problem areas, the things that we want to shift. And we go in different ways, and with the skill of the facilitator, maybe we go into the parts that need it the most, tease it out, work it, bring it to the surface, and let it heal. So what is healing? Now, I might, there's probably lots of ways to answer that question, but maybe the broadest and most simplistic way of looking at it is that healing is just attention, honoring whatever it is that's not working. So we are human beings, and we have our um, we have a nature to us, and when we're in harmony, when we're in balance with what our like physical, emotional, psychological, spiritual bodies are adapted to, let's say, or aligned with, when we're in harmony with that, when we're in balance, then we're in good health. And it's when we go off that track and we start doing things that are out of alignment with who we are, that we get sick. Our body's telling us, mm, not working. This is not working. And and so healing and the process of therapy could be looked at as it's just getting back in alignment. You know, when when I treat people, when I work with my clients, it's very obvious that there is either an overuse or an underuse of a particular area. Like we can look at that in terms of, you know, what parts of the system are we working too much? What's overactive or underactive? You know, we repetitive strain, right? What's that? It's overuse of a certain area. The body's not really that well adapted. So we put in mitigation strategies, right? How to deal with that. Or underuse. We're stagnant. We're sitting at a desk 10 hours a day in the same position, and our body's not designed for that. So what do we do? So it's about alignment, you know, understanding who we are and and what we are best adapted to, and allowing ourselves to align with that. Now, that's why I'm an advocate for awareness. You know, the more awareness we have, and more than that, it's more um, trusting the intelligence of the body, you know, trusting ourselves and paying attention and becoming acquainted, developing a relationship with ourselves and with our bodies, because it will tell us, you know, it's a very intelligent system. When we're tired, we probably need to rest. When we're hungry, we probably need to eat. You know, these basic things. And they can be nuanced. It can be nuanced as well. But this is true, you know, paying attention to what we need, paying attention to the apparatus, you know, respecting ourselves, respecting our vessel, listening, paying attention, and adapting as required. Now, it's not always as simple as that. You know, we have many coping strategies operating at any one time and all interacting, and we have many different demands on us in this world, this very complex place. And so it's uh, it's not an exact science, and it looks different for everybody and how we manage it. You know, sometimes we can unpack things one thing at a time, or you know, it's going to look different for everybody. And so it's an optimization process. It's a it's an optimization process. So yeah, I think that's a good summary to begin with on what therapy is. Uh, so I guess for myself, I see that. I see the gaps in the knowledge. I see all these different disciplines coming up now. There's all these different types of therapists. There's all these multiple modalities, and it's hard for people to know. You know, how do we know what is true and what is right, and what is good and what is useful and what is bullshit? You know, what is woo woo? What is what's actually useful? Yeah, so it's a matter of efficiency, really. Like, what do we want to do and how do we want to change and how do we know what the right direction is? We got all these different voices pushing us in different directions. And I see, um, on Instagram, let's say, and it's a great thing that social media allows different people to create their own platform and their own voices and, give their own value in different ways. Um, but it's completely unregulated, which is great. Um, but yeah, so we need to develop the skills to discern, and I guess the more experience we have with ourselves and with other people and respecting the body and knowing what's right for us and understanding the process, the more sophisticated we become and more even maybe psychic we become in just discerning what's useful from what's not useful. So, um, yeah, there's lots of different things happening in the culture right now. It's probably for the better, on the whole. There's lots of cult behavior happening. And so this is a problem because, when we have um, success maybe or money or power in any of these cultures, in these groups, then if the leaders have any blind spots, let's say, it can lead to cult behavior. People can run away with bad ideas and lose themselves in that process and uh, yeah, poison the pool, you know. So and we're all poisoned to a certain extent. We're all healed to a certain extent. So again, we don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater and take the good things of all situations. Uh, be discerning, never, you know, idolize people as gods and believe everything that someone says because nothing that anybody says is like 100% worked out, right? But how useful is it? Maybe there's some things that we can use that are really, really good. And so we take that and we use that. And so there's lots of people, you know, coming up with a lot of different ideas and uh, most of it's crap. And it's good. It's good to play. It's good to work this stuff out. Um, but there is a lot of stuff in the spiritual communities, let's say, that is just missing the point, let's say. And as we get into more and more um, magical type of practices, things just become looser and looser. And so it's harder to track, it's harder to monitor. How do we know? How do we know that something is useful or good or true? So it's definitely a space. And for me, that's why I like to work with the body and as a starting point, as an analogy for life, human life, the body, it will tell us how nature works. We are nature. This is nature. So the way we respond, the way things happen in our body, these are essential principles. These are their essential truths. This is what we know. This is all we know. This is all we know. It's more certain. It's more tangible, right? So our experiences, our reactions, this is very valuable information. And so there's a starting point to become acquainted with our own apparatus, our own system, learn how it works, respect it, love it, cherish it, appreciate it, have gratitude for it. Oh, gratitude practice. Oh, I'm grateful. True. Yes. Oh, ticking the boxes, doing all the things. Truly, you know, what do we need? What's right? Uh, yeah. So efficiency and healing, I guess. And it's different to what we think it is. You know, that pathway is different. It's dynamic. So anyway, I think that's a good starting point discussion around therapy and healing and um, optimizing ourselves.